I have an unspeakable fetish I love to show off, but please don't get me wrong. I'm not the kind of pervert who would suddenly rush out and lift my clothes in the middle of the night. I just simply enjoy the feeling of being seen by others. If I can hear one or two compliments, the pleasure will run through my body like an electric current. This secret is like a piece of red-hot charcoal, branded in my heart. Every time I think of it, my fingers will tremble unconsciously. When I was a child, my parents always taught me that men and women are different, but they never told me how to do it specifically. My family runs a mahjong hall. The spacious 3-bedroom apartment was changed beyond recognition, leaving only a small bedroom for the whole family to live in. I remember when I was in junior high school and lived in the school, the most troublesome thing for me when I went home on weekends was going to the toilet. The toilet in the mahjong hall never turned off the lights during the day, and the door was always ajar. Once, I pushed open the door to get my socks and almost ran into a male guest who was using the toilet. Strangely, I neither ran away in panic nor apologized with a blushing face. I just took the socks and left expressionlessly. Thinking about it later, I seemed to be expecting something at the time, wanting to see how he would react. What's even more weird is that the man didn't say anything and continued to relieve himself as if nothing had happened. This matter was left unresolved, but it planted a seed in my heart. Whenever I think of the way he might be scared by me, I feel an inexplicable excitement. This habit is like a poisonous snake, entwining my reason. I dare not tell anyone, for fear of being regarded as a monster. But secrets are like floods. The harder they are blocked, the more turbulent they will be when they burst out. Now that I have said it, I feel a little relieved. Maybe I should talk to a psychologist. The second time I discovered my fetish was when I was taking a shower at home. I had locked the door that day, but I heard a click and the door was pushed open. I stood naked under the shower. The water washed over my body, and I didn't panic at that moment. The boy who pushed the door in was a neighbor. The moment he saw me, his face turned pale and he turned and ran away. But I stood there, and my mind couldn't help but imagine his smug expression when he closed the door. After all, I was already a fully grown girl. This thought scared me. Soon, my mother found out about this. She scolded my father in front of him. "You should have changed the bathroom door latch a long time ago. With so many guests coming and going at home, how can your daughter take a bath in peace?" My father was scolded so much that he couldn't raise his head, and he asked someone to replace the door latch the next day. From then on, every time I took a shower, my dad would move a chair and wait outside the door. I could hear my mom urging me while I was lying in the bathtub, "What do you look like sitting by the toilet?" After entering high school, I was admitted to a high school in the city and lived on campus, thinking that this quirk would disappear as the environment changed. After graduating from college, I rented a house and finally gained real freedom. When I was at home, I often walked around naked, and this feeling made me happy physically and mentally. Gradually, I found that I didn't like to wear underwear when I went out, and I often didn't wear underwear. In summer, if I didn't wear underwear, I would have bulges. I didn't want to wear nipple stickers but was afraid of being treated as a monster, so I could only expose myself occasionally in a place where I felt safe, such as dancing naked on the balcony late at night, or wearing only pajamas without underwear when going downstairs to do nucleic acid. I would also take pictures of myself and post them online. When I saw someone leave a revealing comment, I was not angry, but I felt excited whether it was praise or derogatory. Finally, someone saw my body. When I met handsome boys, I would always take the initiative to chat with some color jokes, and even ask to see their private parts. After falling in love, I found that ordinary sex could not satisfy me. My boyfriend was very cooperative and took me to the balcony and the car to try new and exciting places. But gradually I realized that he was using my fetish to control me. I was in my 20s and in the rebellious period. We often quarreled over trivial matters until one day, I finally understood. What I need is not the recognition of others, but acceptance of the real me. Looking back now, this fetish is like a mirror, reflecting my deepest desire in my heart to be seen, to be noticed, to be accepted. Although this road is difficult, I finally learned to reconcile with myself. Maybe one day, I can find someone who really understands me and no longer have to get pleasure in this twisted way. But before that, I decided to learn to love this imperfect self first. When I got home from get off work that day, I found that the work group on my phone was in an uproar. It turned out that my ex-boyfriend had made my habit public, and even added the sarcasm of "you can't judge a person by his appearance." After my parents found out, we had an awkward conversation. My mother blushed and said, "Daughter, let's not do this in public." I interrupted hastily, "Mom, I know my limits." The conversation ended hastily with my father's cough. After being transferred to work in another place, I met Lao Zhou. This man, who is 15 years older than me, is gentle and considerate, and takes care of me like a father. After 6 months of getting along, he proposed to me. Seeing his serious look, I hesitated. This habit is like a time bomb, and I am afraid of being abandoned again. The truth was still exposed. After a quarrel, Lao Zhou accidentally let it slip. "I knew about your photos a long time ago." I froze in my place, and tears fell uncontrollably. That night, I ran out of the house as if I was escaping, and Lao Zhou caught up with me in the stairwell and hugged me tightly. He stroked my hair gently. "I don't blame you. Let's go to a psychologist, okay?" During that time, Lao Zhou cooked for me in different ways every day, and my friends took turns to persuade me. On my birthday, he prepared a surprise for me at the party, a cake with the words "accept the imperfect self." When making a wish, I silently made a wish to be brave, to love and be loved. With Lao Zhou's company, I began to receive psychological counseling. The doctor told me that my situation was a mild exposure tendency, which could be improved through cognitive behavioral therapy. Lao Zhou would receive the photos I sent every day, and we agreed to share them only in a safe environment. Gradually, I found that the pleasure brought by this habit was no longer so important. In May of this year, after a year and a half of dating, we got the certificate. Now my life is peaceful and beautiful. Although I still have impulses occasionally, I have learned to control it. Lao Zhou often said, "Everyone has imperfections. The important thing is that we accept each other." Now, what I look forward to most every day is watching the sunrise on the balcony with Lao Zhou. Looking at his sleeping face, I finally understood. True love is not about demanding perfection from the other person, but about being willing to accept each other completely. Maybe after the birth of my child, I will completely say goodbye to the self who hides in the dark and seeks attention, and truly live in the sun. This experience taught me, love is not about hiding, but about bravely showing the real self. It is not about being accepted, but about learning to accept yourself. Now I can finally say calmly, "This is me, an imperfect but real person,